Chapter 1, Episode 4. Ved Vyasa's sojourn in the forest. Narad Ji meeting him and asking him to narrate the ancient incident of conversation between Sri Vishnu and Sri Brahma. Homage to the Devi. The rishis requested, Sud Ji, please tell us about the birth of Sukdev Ji and what qualities he possessed which made him so knowledgeable. Also, it is said he was obtained from an Arani, drill used for producing fire. We are full of wonder and await your narration. Sud Ji said, in ancient times, Satyavati Nandan Vyas Ji lived in an ashram on the banks of the Saraswati river. In his ashram, a pair of sparrows had built a nest and hatchling had just come out of the egg. The parents were so affectionate that they used to rub their bodies against the baby. Also, they spent long hours bringing food to the baby. He watched this and thought, if birds love their children so much, how much more a human being will love his progeny. He pondered over this matter and then went to Mandarachal mountain. He began to ponder as to which god he should pray to for the boon of a son. Should he pray to Sri Vishnu, Sri Shiva, Indra, Sri Brahma, Surya, Sri Ganesh, Swami Kartikeya, Agni or Varun? While he was thus contemplating, Narad Ji, the most pure, appeared with his veena. Vyas Ji immediately greeted him, paid obeisance and made arrangements for washing his feet. He inquired after his well-being. Narad Ji accepted all the customs and then asked Ved Vyas why he looked so anxious. Vyas Ji replied, it is said that a childless man's life has no meaning. This is causing me sadness and I am trying to find out which god I must appease and pray to for this boon. O Maharishi, you are the ocean of kindness. Please tell me which god will grant me a son. Narad Ji replied, O auspicious one, this very question was asked of Sri Hari, Vishnu, by my revered father Sri Brahmaji. Sri Vishnu is the protector of this world. Sri Lakshmi is always by his side. The divine jewel, Kaustubh, adorns his chest and he holds Shankh, Chakra and mace. He wears Pitambar clothes, that is yellow clothes. He has 4 arms and his emblem Shrivats shines on his chest. He is the god of all gods. He was in Samadhi, deep meditation, and my father was keen to know on whom this god of gods was meditating. So he asked Sri Vishnu, you are the god of all the gods. You are the protector of the universe. Please tell me why you are meditating and on whom your attention is fixed. I am very curious to know. I was created out of the lotus of your Nabi and then I created the world. So you are the most self-contained. I am full of wonder as to who is more superior than you. I only know that you are the cause of all and that by your wish I created the world. Even Sri Shiva goes into destructive mode when you give the sign. It is on your desire that the sun orbits the sky and the wind blows and fire burns and the rain falls. I do not know any god greater than you. So I am in confusion, for I cannot imagine that there is anyone who can be meditated upon by you. So please explain this very clearly to me. On hearing this Vinati from Sri Brahma, Sri Vishnu said, Brahman, listen with full attention. We all know that all creation is done by you. I protect the creation, and at the time of dissolution, Sri Shiva destroys. But those who learn in the Vedas say that the energy that we use for creation, protection, and dissolution is given to us by the most supreme Devi, Sri Adi Shakti. In order to create, you have been endowed with the energy of Rajas. I have been endowed with Sattvic Shakti and Sri Shiva has been endowed with Tamasic Shakti. Without these Shaktis, you could not create, I could not protect and Sri Shiva could not destroy. We succeed in our endeavors only by this divine Shakti. The tangible and the invisible, that is subtle, I will describe both to you. O Brahma, listen carefully. It is this Shakti which causes me to sleep on Sheshnag and to awaken whenever necessary. I am always in meditation upon this Shakti and can never exist without it. Sometimes I am in the company of Sri Lakshmi, sometimes I wage wars with the negative forces, and at other times I vanquish the enemies of the Devas. A long, long time ago, when nothing existed, there was only the ocean on all sides. Two mighty Danavs emerged from the wax in my ears, and I spent many yugas fighting them. Only with the help of Bhagavati Adi Shakti could I defeat and kill them. You were witness to this, O Brahma. Whenever Bhagavati Adi Shakti has indicated, I have incarnated on the earth as a tortoise, a boar, Narasimhan, that is half lion, half man, a Vaman, that is dwarf. Many ages ago, the string of my bow broke and severed my head from my body. You are a great sculptor, and you joined the head of a horse to my body. I came to be known as Haishira, having a horse's head. All this was done with the energy of Adi Shakti. In this whole creation, I do not know anyone greater or more powerful than Bhagavati Adi Shakti. Naradji said, the narrator of this great secret is Sri Vishnu, and the listener is Sri Brahma. My father imparted this knowledge to me, and now I advise that if you want a son, you must worship the lotus feet of Bhagavati Jagadamba in the temple of your heart. She will certainly fulfill all your desires. Accordingly, Vyasji worshipped the Devi and journeyed to the mountains to meditate upon her lotus feet. Chapter 1, Episode 5. The story of Haigriv Avatar and the killing of an Asura called Haigriv. The Rishi said, Sudji, this is a very puzzling event that you have narrated. The very same God Vishnu, who is the protector of all, who is praised in the Vedas and who is known as Jagat Prabhu Bhagavan Sri Hari, he suffered the loss of his head. This is definitely a play of the Lord. Please tell us forthwith how this incident happened. Sudji said, Munis, Bhagavan Vishnu is most effulgent and magnificent, and his play is many-colored. This incident happened many eons ago. Sri Vishnu had engaged in battle with the negative forces for 10,000 years. At the end, he returned to Vaikuntha weary and tired. He sat in Padmasan pose and set his mighty bow against the earth. It still had its string tied taut. In exhaustion, he leaned against the bow, partly out of sleep and partly out of Leela. At that time, the Devas were planning to hold a yajna. Once the decision was made, Sri Indra, Sri Brahma, Sri Shankar and other Devas went to pay respects to Sri Vishnu in Vaikuntha. The boon that the Devas desired was freedom from obstacles in their work. But they could not get a darshan of Sri Vishnu. By going into meditation, they found the place where Sri Vishnu was enthroned. They beheld Param Prabhu Sri Hari deep in Nidra Yoga, and they waited at that place for him to awaken. But when that did not happen for a long time, they became apprehensive. Indra asked for advice from the assembled gods as to the best way of waking the Lord. Sri Shiva said, under normal circumstances, it is forbidden to break Nidra Yoga. But in this case, it is necessary so that the work of the yajna can be started. Then Sri Brahma created a beetle, Vamri, and said, this beetle will cut the string and the bow will straighten with a loud bang. This sound will awaken the sleeping Lord. Hearing this, the beetle objected. Salutations to Sri Lakshmikant Narayan, the Supreme One, the protector of all living and non-living things. How can I disturb his sleep? What benefit will I get by doing this heinous act? Every living thing does an action only for some reward. So, only if there is some benefit for me in doing this unholy act, I will consider it. Sri Brahma made an offer that Vamri will get a share of the boons of the yajna. When offerings are put into the Havan Kund during the yajnas, whatever falls outside will be the beetle's share. Sudji said, Vamri accepted this and immediately gnawed through the lower part of the string. As soon as the tension of the bow was released, it unbent with a loud booming sound which frightened even the Devas. Darkness fell all around. The sun's rays became weak and all the Devas exclaimed, Oh, what is going to happen now? Hear this, O Rishis. Suddenly, the head of Sri Vishnu, complete with crown and locks, disappeared in the air. When a feeble light came in, Sri Shankar and Sri Brahma beheld the body of Sri Vishnu without the head. They became very anxious. All the gods wept and began to sink into the ocean. They prayed to Sri Vishnu to enlighten them as to what was happening and what had to be done. Sri Brahma said, "This is all the doing of Kal Bhagwan, the god of time. Whatever is written will come to pass. In the same way, once my head was cut off by Sri Shiva. Even Devraj Indra once broke into 1,000 pieces and fell from the heaven into Mansarovar. There he dwelt on a lotus, so no one should grieve or be afraid. We must all meditate upon Vidyaswarupini Mahamaya. She dwells in the entire creation and she will solve our problem. She supports the universe and one of her names is Brahma Vidya or Nirmal Vidya. All living things are her children and she exists within them." Then Sri Brahma invited the Vedas who were present there. He said, "Brahma Vidya Swarupini Bhagavati Jagadamba is most worshipable. It is extremely difficult to operate as a cell in the divine body. Bhagavati Mahamaya cleanses all karmas, so all of you should sing her praises." Then the Vedas, who had assumed beautiful forms, began songs in praise of that Mahamaya Jagadamba, who is the fountain of knowledge. The Vedas began their chant, "O Devi, you are Mahamaya, the supreme creator of illusion and confusion, even to the greatest of gods. It is your nature to create. You are the giver of life to the entire universe. You are Nirguna, beyond the three gunas. You are consciousness devoid of the qualities and attributes of the mind. You are the seed energy of God's desire, the pure desire of Sadashiva. Shri Mata, we worship you. You are in the form of the universe to give ashraya, protection to your creation. You are also the individual self, Vishwa, in the wakeful state. You are Dhi, pure knowledge, Shri, auspiciousness, Kanti, splendor, effulgence, Kshama, ocean of forgiveness, Shraddha, object of reverence, Medha, intelligence, Smriti, code of conduct. The half syllable Om, the Ardha Matra is you. In Gayatri, you are the Pranav, life force. You are Jaya and Vijaya, that is royal and victorious. You are Lajja, that is bashful modesty in all beings. You are Dhatri, one who nourishes all with divine vibrations. You are Kirti, worthy of honor and worship. And you are Daya, compassionate. We offer you our pranams, O Devi. You are the creator and the protector of the three worlds. You are the embodiment of benevolence. You are the mother of all the mothers. You are the fount of knowledge. It is by your blessing alone that the true meaning of the Vedas became clear. You are the giver of all fruits of our prayers. Whatever you do, it is for the benevolence of all beings. You are most worshipful. You lift the sadness of people who are in extreme sorrow. You have always the mantras as your form. You are the seed of the mantras and you give mantras their effect. Sarva Mantra Siddhi. You destroy the darkness of ignorance. You created Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, Indra, Agni, Saraswati and Surya. When it is your desire to create, you cause these gods to create universes. You are without equal. There is no being yet created who can describe you adequately or enumerate all your names. Those who cannot understand the small stretch of water of their existence, how can they comprehend the vast and mighty ocean that is you? Bhagavati, even among gods, there is no one who can encompass or fathom your qualities. You are Jagat Janani, that is sole mother of the universe. Obeisance to that goddess who is the foundation of all organs of beings and who is ever present in all beings. When you assume the Abhaydan Mudra, you give boons with one hand and protection and fearlessness with the other. You are the primordial letters. O Mother, you look after and guide those visible and invisible gods and officials. You are the receptacle of the entire universe. When all the scriptures could not succeed in revealing all your forms, your beauty, your powers, how can we mere mortals aspire to this knowledge? What more can be said when you yourself are not aware of yourself? O benevolent and propitious goddess, you do know that the head of Sri Vishnu has got separated from his divine body. Rather, in spite of knowing it, you are testing its effect. At the present moment, Sri Hari is without a head, and this is amazing us as well as causing us sorrow. It is beyond our intelligence to know the reason why you, the giver and taker of life, are delaying the rejoining of his head to his body. Sri Jagadamba, this play of yours is beyond our comprehension. Is it that some Daitya or demon has done Ghor Tapasya and received this boon from you that Sri Vishnu should become headless? Or does it please you to see him in this condition? Sri Jagadambe, could it be that you are displeased with Sri Lakshmi and therefore she must be deprived of her lord? We accept that it is possible that you are displeased with Sri Lakshmi, but we pray for forgiveness because she emanated from you. Please be merciful and restore Sri Vishnu's head so that Sri Lakshmi can be reunited with her lord. We invoke you with one voice, O Devi. Please bestow life on the Master of the Universe, Sri Vishnu, so that this sorrowful ocean can once again give salvation and regenerate itself. O Mother, we are not even aware of the place where the sacred head of Sri Vishnu has fallen. It is quite clear that without divine assistance we can do nothing. O Devi, in the same way that you nourish the Devas with nectar, so also please nourish this creation and keep it in existence. Suji said, after the Vedas had worshipped the Mother with body, mind and soul, the Devi Mahamaya, Gunatita, became Prasanna, and a heavenly voice was heard by the Devas and the Vedas. There was benevolence in every syllable and filled everyone with joy. They were privileged to hear this. Devas, now there is no need to be worried. Calm your attention, become peaceful and ascend your seats. The Vedas have pleased me by singing my praises. Any mortal who reads or listens with great bhakti and shraddha to these stutis, all his sorrows and turmoils will be destroyed, and he will live in peace and joy. These stories sung by the Vedas are equal to Vedas. Now I will tell you the reason for the separation of Sri Vishnu's head from his body. Nothing in this creation happens without a cause. Once Sri Vishnu was seated on his throne with Sri Lakshmi. When he glanced at her beautiful face, he suddenly began to laugh. Sri Lakshmi concluded that her face had ceased to please the Lord, as he never laughed like this without a proper reason. Sri Lakshmi became angry. Even though she was of sattvic nature, she got overwhelmed by tamoguna. As soon as this fierce tamasic energy entered, it began to actualize a predestined episode involving the Devas. Sri Mahalakshmi in anger uttered these words, "May your head fall off from your body." Consequently, at this moment the head of Sri Vishnu is floating in the salty sea. Devas, there is one more cause that some great feat is going to be accomplished by you without doubt. There was a demon called Hygriv. He had very strong limbs and had achieved great fame. He sat on the banks of Saraswati river and did great tapasya. He chanted the single syllable Maya Bija mantra for 1,000 years without eating or drinking. He conquered all his senses. He worshipped my tamasic Shakti with all its ornaments and embellishments. I was pleased with his tapasya and appeared before him in the same form and with the same adornments as he had meditated upon. I was seated upon my Vahana, the lion, and there was an overflow of compassion and vibrations. I said, "Most fortunate one, ask whatever boon you wish and it shall be granted." Upon hearing me, he was filled with worship and awe. He immediately performed pradakshina, that is perambulation, and worshipped my feet. On beholding my form, his eyes misted and filled with tears of joy. He folded his hands and started reciting stutis. Hygriv said, "O most compassionate Devi, praise be to you. You are Mahamaya, supreme creator of illusion and confusion, even to the greatest of gods. Creation, preservation and destruction are a part of your nature. It pleases you to bestow boons on your devotees. You are beneficent and you grant realization of the ultimate to those who surrender to you. You are the cause which gives fragrance to the earth, sound to the akash, purity to the water, radiance to the fire, and quality of penetration to the ether. O Devi Maheshwari, you have given senses and essences to all our organs nose, skin, eyes, tongue, ears, and others. O Devi, they all come from you. I said, you have done a most remarkable tapasya and I am pleased with your bhakti. You may ask for a boon that is dear to you. Whatever is your desire, I shall fulfill it. Hygrieve said, Mother, grant that I may never face death. I desire to become an immortal yogi. Neither the gods nor the demons should defeat me. I said, that which is born must die, and that which dies must be born again. This is an irreversible law, O Rakshasraj. Ask again. Hygrieve said, Yes, mother, I understand. Then let it be that I die only at the hands of another Hygrieve. No other being should be capable of killing me. This is my desire. Please be gracious and fulfill it. I said, Mahabhag, now return to your kingdom and reign in peace. It will be that no one but a Hygrieve can endure life. After granting this boon, I, in my tamasic mood, withdrew. The demon returned to his kingdom very satisfied and happy. This very same Hygrieve is now troubling the Vedas and the Munis. In Trilok, there is no one who can destroy him. So, the solution is that the head of a beautiful horse should be placed on the body of Sri Vishnu. This can only be performed by Sri Brahma. Then Lord Hygrieve will destroy this cruel and troublesome demon. Sujji said, after saying this, the heavenly voice ceased. The Devas were overjoyed and immediately went to Sri Brahma. In an instant, a horse's head was placed on the body of Sri Vishnu, and with the grace of Bhagavati Jagadambika, the incarnation of Hygrieve came into existence. The demon was very arrogant, and Sri Hygrieve engaged in war with him for many years before killing him. All mortals who listen to this episode get relief from their worldly sufferings. Descriptions of the compassion and benevolence and her victories over sin and arrogance give peace and blessings to those who listen to this.